get into my show notes. And Bridger, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear
We
me?
can hear him, of course.
Unmute yourself, maybe.
See, I think I'm unmuted.
He's not muted.
Let's try it now. Try it now, Bridger.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Oh. Yes.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
Did you hear anything I said about you?
Yeah, I didn't hear the bad stuff.
Oh, good. I did that all in the beginning.
I didn't hit go before until
he let me
after
get it all out before he hit play. But
yeah.
Bridger, you have been working, and you've been in the private sector your entire life, and your family as well. So I thought you brought a new outlook and a lot of common sense to the office when you started. And all I have ever heard from the powers that be and your colleagues that work with you is that we have one hell of a jewel that is Bridger Bolinder in that seat. And I've had the privilege of going to the Capitol and sitting with you and watching you work. And I am so appreciative how much you engage with the party and with the constituents of this party. And I just need you to know that I'm so happy that you're up there. As a freshman senator, you have really turned some heads, and I couldn't be prouder. Tooele County's, our freshman senators have really impressed a lot of folks. So why don't you tell us what quickly got you to run?
Yeah. Thanks, Holly, Jared, Holly, for what you get for our community. People are listening to your program. I miss David. So also is there with Tooele Happy Hour. Call yourselves now, but
we keep having your Bridger. Your mic keeps bumping in and out. I wonder what's going on with that.
If I need to, I can. How's that?
Yeah. Let's have a sentence and we'll see how it goes.
Let me try to get on this. Maybe that's the better way to do it.
Okay. Yeah, try that out real quick.
Back with you.
All right. So anyway, that's Bridger Bolinder. He is the state rep from down in Grantsville area.
And Stansbury.
Grantsville and Stansbury. And then Tim Jimenez is the kind of south of him that incorporates Tooele. And both of them also go out to the state line, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe Bridger is over Wendover.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got me now.
Oh, that's a lot better.
Is that better? I think it's just something on my laptop. So, but anyway, yeah. So you guys were talking a little bit about my district. So I represent most of Tooele County, with the exception of Tooele City and part of Stansbury and part of Erta. And as you know, Representative Jimenez represents the other part of those parts of the county that I don't. And then I represent part of Juab County, the really rural part of Juab County, and then also all of Millard County. So it's actually the second biggest House district in the state. So it's quite a jaunt to get from one end to the other. So.
And I recall when you were running that you were really hands-on with those other counties. Like you were in touch with electeds. You were in touch with the party chairs in those counties. You were showing up there to see how you could be a part of them. And I've heard from the party chair of Juab that how impressed he was that, he feels like he's being heard. And so, and that's you as a candidate. And it wasn't an easy race. There was some good people in the race, and I'm sure it was a more expensive race than most people thought. But I can appreciate the fact that you always have your head above board. You run your campaign with respect, and nothing ever gets muddy. And I think you just had to be yourself and let the results fall where they may. But it was an honor working with you on that campaign and seeing the absolute wonderful job you did starting right out of the gate. And Tim is joining us, and I would say the same for Tim. I've known him a long time, and what I can say about Tim is that when Tim makes a vote, somewhat how I feel about Mitt Romney, I don't question or worry about that vote. I know that it's been done with a lot of thought, with a lot of a moral and healthy thought of how it's going to work in the county and how it's going to benefit his neighbors. And so that is something few people get in their government.
We've lost our mouse. So I don't know if the computer is crashing or what, but we
Tim
have.
or Bridger, you can still hear us.
I can still hear you guys, and I've got
Okay.
a hard
Alright.
stop here at about. I only have a few minutes before I got to get on another call, and so.
Okay, here's what I'd love to hear from you with
Yeah,
your time
sure.
restraints. Can you give us? Are you putting bills up this session?
Yes.
Okay, would you give us a rundown of those bills?
Yeah, I can give you kind of a high level view of some of the things I'm working on. So a lot of what I'm doing this session has to do with mineral extraction in our state. And, you know, a lot of I come from the sand and gravel industry, which is, I guess, a type of mineral extraction. But I'm working on things in regards to lithium and the process and the mine permitting process and different things like that. So that's one area that I've been playing in a lot. I'm doing some more legislation on some government licensing regulations in regards to equine massage therapy. So I'm running a bill. I don't know if right now in the state of Utah, if you want
So
to
hold on.
massage an animal, you've got to go and get the same the same license you would need to practice massage therapy on a human. So we're fixing that issue.
I'll
And
be
then I've
right
got
back.
some other things in the works. So, but yeah, anyway, that's kind of the space that I'm playing in. I'm also co-chairing with Representative Colin Jack, the Environmental Stewardship Caucus. Tim has been a big part of that. I'm glad Tim's there. Tim, we're lucky to have Tim because not just in Twilla County, but in the legislature, because Tim's kind of a unicorn in that he has,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you why. So Tim has long, beautiful hair, and he's an environmental engineer, but he's also conservative, which makes him a unicorn, right? Because
Yeah,
there are lots of
absolutely.
people with long, beautiful hair that are environmental engineers that aren't conservative, and so we're super lucky to have Tim. Tim's helped us a lot with this environmental stewardship caucus, and we're really excited what we're doing with that. And I'll just talk about that for a minute, but this is a Republican-led effort that we've got people, myself from the mineral extraction industry, Colin Jack from the energy world, Tim is an environmental engineer. We have so many people participating in this, and our goal with that is to show people that, hey, look, Republicans care about the environment, right? And so I'd heard this for a long time that, hey, Republicans don't care about the environment. Like the Democrats are the only ones that care about clean air and clean water, and that's just not the case. So with this environmental stewardship caucus, we want to come up with good policy. We want to promote and support good policy that helps create a better environment for all of us. Not just banning gas-powered leaf blowers and lawnmowers, right? That's not what we're looking at. But really, even more than that, it's a really broad approach. I mean, the way we manage our forests, the way we manage our water, the way we do all of those things, right? Our quality of life here in Utah. So we're really excited about that. We've had a lot of groups reach out with lots of interest. College Republicans, some of the younger groups, which is great because a lot of these younger college students are hearing that from their peers, right? Like Republicans don't care about the environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so these are things that we're committed kind of look at and sort of change that narrative that, you know, Republicans do care. We're just about doing things that make sense, not just feel good measures. So anyway, really excited about that. I'm also chairing the Sportsman's Caucus, and I'm really excited about that. Jared, you can relate. You've got deer on your wall in there. I wish I could be there with you, but those that hunt in our state, that's a part of our culture here in Utah: fishing, hunting, outdoor recreation. So happy to be chairing that caucus. Actually, with a friend and a Democrat. Doug Owens is the other chair of that caucus. So if you're
Hold
interested in,
on.
yeah.
There's Democrat hunters.
There, you know what? That's a real thing, Jared. Yes.
Oh, this is mind blowing. This is.
Hey, I happen
You
to
don't-
know many Democrats who
You know when Joe
like to
Rogan,
protect their family and own a firearm.
when Joe Rogan talks to the people who talk about how like the aliens built pyramids and stuff, that's how I'm feeling right now. No, I'm just kidding. I know there's a Democrat or two that will.
So how intensive is that first week for you? And have you had these bills that you're talking about? Are you having any pushback anywhere? I mean, these seem like a little bit of common sense, and you have personal involvement with that mineral extraction from your own profession. And I know that you kind of led the way. And you're just a hero among people, that you led the way to try to get those minerals and stuff, at least to get some compensation to the counties that you're actually pulling those minerals from, rather than they're pulling the minerals, they're driving them through the county, roads and stuff are getting affected. They're not buying their gas here. It's all going to Salt Lake, even though those minerals are coming right out of our county. And you kind of took that idea, and you and some others ran with that bill. I think, will you give us a short elevator speech on that?
Yeah, you know, I think that was a good start for the rural areas that have, you know, gravel pits is what you're referring to in this case.
Yes.
And that, you know, that provided some revenue for road money, basically, to be able to repair some of the roads that are damaged by gravel extraction from the more rural counties, and well, not just the rural counties, all counties that have gravel extraction. Let me just touch on a little bit on like mineral extraction in general. So in my day job, I know Tim and I don't think this is a part-time job so much anymore as we maybe used to, but so my job that actually pays me, how I make my living, you know, I spend a lot of time in the gold mines in northern Nevada as a mining contractor, and it's frustrating because it's well, I guess it's good work, but it's frustrating because we don't do more of this in the state of Utah. And so since I've been in the legislature, it was interesting. I was driving home from Winnemucca, Nevada, just a few months ago, and the Speaker of the House called me, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I explained to him I was driving from Nevada, and he goes, "Man, clear out Nevada." And I said, "Yeah, Speaker, like we need to do more of this in the state of Utah. Like, how do we do that? How do we promote that?" And so I've just decided that during this interim, I've taken a lot of initiative and a lot of things that I think would promote mineral extraction in our state, and tried to run with that. And so hopefully what I'm doing will promote some of those things and create a more diverse economy, especially for places like rural Utah. Like you look at what has happened in Beaver County. Like Beaver County, the major employer in Beaver County has been Smithfield Foods, the hog farms in Beaver County,
Yeah.
right? They just decided to cut their contract, and it's thousands and thousands of jobs that are lost in Beaver County. That's devastating for their
And
economy.
some towns like Milford depend on that. Like it builds a
Absolutely.
town.
Yep, absolutely. And so the fact is that we have this big chunk of Utah in the center part of our state that is rich in mineral reserves, and we as a state, frankly, haven't done that great a job in encouraging, you know, exploration and mining of those materials that create jobs in a more diverse economy in our state. And so that's something that I'm kind of committed to. And with this, Tim and others that understand the environmental side, I think that's kind of what we want to see, right? To be good stewards. And part of stewardship is being able to utilize the resources that are here within our state. Now we have some interesting issues because a lot of federal land and different things like that. And there's a lot of legislators and groups that understand that issue better than I do. But together, I think we can get there and create those opportunities for Utahns for better paying jobs, and especially in the rural areas. So
Right.
anyway, that's something I've spent a lot of time on in the interim.
Bridger, with the rural areas, a county like ours, who's 88% federal government owned, there's a lot of potentially we're missing an opportunity to get potential minerals or to, something like that. How much of getting our lands back would involve our state legislatures? Is that something that just kind of goes through the governor and the AG's office and then to the federal level? Or is that something you guys can put bills on to move along?
We've moved some stuff forward, but it's not really, everything's, well, let's just say moving forward. We have funded the AG's office and helped work on some language for some stuff that's moving forward.
Okay.
But we're not really able to speak much to it right now.
And the AG's office would actually be the ones fighting at the Supreme Court if they picked up our request to get our lands back.
To some degree, we can also contract with outside law firms.
Oh, perfect. Well, from what I understand, when Herbert was in, he said we need the House, the Senate, and we need all three houses in order to even take a bite of this. And we get one bite of the apple. We don't want to mess it up. Sean Reyes had mentioned that they've invested $3 million at least into the actual argument and the case. They're just waiting for the okay. And then when we had all three in at that short window, it didn't even go anywhere.
Yeah, we're moving forward. We'll just leave it at that for
Perfect.
now.
All right.
So, Bridger, I've got your mineral extraction bill, your government licensing regulations, the environmental, what was that called? The
Environmental Stewardship Caucus. And that one will be meeting every Tuesday morning, starting the second week of session, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And so, Stewardship Caucus.
Excellent. Now, Bridger and Tim, if ever, I know you guys are
Well,
going
let's real
into
quick have
session.
Tim introduce himself.
1 second,
Well,
I just want to say.
Bridger only has a few minutes. I don't
Yeah,
mind.
he's
gotta
Does
go.
Bridger.
No,
Oh,
you're good. I've got to jump off here in just a few minutes. But go ahead. Any questions?
Bridger, what I would love, and I think as a party leader, I want you to never hesitate. If there's a bill that you want some constituents to show up and support and reach out to us, and it's always an amazing thing to see the Capitol and all its workings, but it's even better when you have, representatives who are willing to show you what's going on or talk to you. I know you guys have very little time to do that, but if there's a bill that comes up and you want to have a group of people there to support you, please reach out, because we will do everything we can. If it's not just us, we'll bring people, because you have my full support. I'm always impressed with the work you do and the way it's like you were always meant to do this job. And I don't think you even thought that. You were learning as you go, and yet you picked up just like Tim, and you guys have impressed so many of your constituents just by mere, you're filling people in on the details they ask for. You're going to them and asking what they need or what they think is needed, and then you're including them. And then you're shining. Your people love you up there. I haven't heard one bad word about you, even from Democrats. So
Yeah.
I just really appreciate, and I know that's a testament to both of your characters. You both have extremely great characters, and I wouldn't expect anything less, but it's always nice to hear. So I just have to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to fill us in on? Is there anything coming up you want support on?
I think, I'll reach out to you guys again in the coming weeks, and maybe we do like a mid-session follow-up or something one evening or something like that.
Would love that.
So, and we'll, but I'm going to turn it over to Tim because he's awesome. You guys already know that. And
Yeah.
like I said, we are really lucky to have him in the in our body in the House of Representatives, the Republican caucus. And so excited about what he's going to do this upcoming session. He has some awesome bills and he'll tell you about. But anyway, if there's anything you need from me, feel free to reach out. Again, Jared, Holly, appreciate what you guys do, the service you provide for the community and informing people, and I think it's great. So if you see Dave, tell him I'm gonna miss him. I think I have his number. I'll have to text him.
I chat with him every day.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I
He
know he's
sends
missing
funny
you
memes
guys.
back and forth. Yeah, he's loving Florida right now.
I'm sure.
Except he lives in a town that has traffic now, so he's always cursing
Okay.
about that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to have you back on when you get a chance. I'd like to have you back on about the Sportsman's. Where's that moving? And also, how would public lands, how would that affect it? And what protections can the state step in and manage that with?
Yeah. No, that's good. We'll continue that conversation.
I want to just ask her one little question before you go. Somebody sent out a long thread last night about trying to limit the number of bills that can go to session and make a cap. And I personally, now I know that I don't know a lot of this or the inner workings. I understand bills go through the leadership in the House or Senate, goes through the bills, decides which one are going to go. And I just want to make sure that I don't feel comfortable with a cap, because every bill that goes up there is important to someone. I understand that. And there might be people loosely throwing them up to have relevance. I don't know the politics of it all, but I just wondered what you thought of somebody potentially limiting the amount of bills by like 15 bills a session rather than 1,500.
Yeah, I think there's, as our state grows, I think one of the issues is we have so many new things that come up. Like, I just think of a couple, just for an example. Like, we have artificial intelligence. I'm working on this brine mining bill that has to do with deep saline aquifers, mining lithium out of. And so these are like new technologies and new things that come up. So we've got to have a little flexibility in being able to create legislation to regulate and manage those types of things. But it is frustrating, that last session was Tim and I's first session. And I remember reading KSL and it saying, the article was, legislature introduces record number of bills. And I don't think any of us as lawmakers want to be, at least on the Republican side, want to be known for the legislature that introduces a record number of bills, right? And so that's something that, the other day, and I don't know that he would want me sharing this necessarily, but our speaker even chastised us a little bit and said, hey, representatives, this is not necessarily good, right? That you've got all these bills. And so I would like to say to that, though, a lot of these bills, I would hope, and I saw this last session, are not more regulation and more law, but they're deregulating, right? And so I think that's something to keep in mind. But I'm with you, and it is alarming. I mean, that we see these huge number of bill files, and I guess I don't know the answer other than I don't think it's necessarily good to have a record number of bill files.
But that's the job of the leadership in the House and the Senate, is to kind of be that go-between and decide what's
there. Yeah, but we also all represent the people that we represent. We, our 44,000.
And that's my thought.
It's our job to bring that forward, and our leadership has been very good about saying, look, if you bring a legitimate bill forward, it's not job of leadership to block it or to try and stop it. Let's let it go into a committee and let the people hear it.
Yeah.
And that unfortunately means this year we may only have 35-40% of the bills that even are heard or passed. So
isn't it also the environment can adjust how many bills come in, what's going on? If something new happens in the state, say even the state takes an explosion of refugees from the state of California, as it collapses, you may see more bills come in because we may have to manage more things are happening.
We're fighting the federal government at a lot of fronts right now. And a lot of this just comes down to boards and committees that we have assigned responsibilities that may not be fulfilling the design of what they were set up for, and as well as the federal government not overreaching, and we have to slap them back and say, no, we're not going to comply.
See, and I don't want that. I don't want that missed. I don't want that ignored. I want that to be discussed between my reps. And at the same time, you got AI, and you've mentioned AI. You've got, this is new. It's a new ground. Social media and what they're doing there, it's new. There's a lot of things that it just adds up. But if we don't get it settled now and get some legislation to get around it while we're just learning, it could come back to hurt us by not being prepared.
I think it comes down to the basic fundamental principle founding of this government is that, this Constitution is wholly inadequate for irreligious and immoral people. Mm-hmm. And the more we can't govern ourselves, the more we ask someone else to govern us. We also have an attitude of people being too comfortable. Too many people have the one issue that's important to them, the one thing that they want seen through. And the fact is there's 330 million Americans, and every one of them wants the one thing that's important to them addressed at the government level. Well, that's 330 million people with different ideas, different opinions, and wanting a specific bill for themselves. The real question is, what are we willing as citizens to give up in a form of comfort in order for more liberty to be here?
Right.
You start talking about Medicare, Medicaid, social, the welfare program. We start talking about these things, and no one's willing to give up an inch of their comfort. And by doing so, we run up billions or trillions of dollars worth of debt, and we necessarily grow government because that one thing is so important to us.
Yeah,
and
I can get that.
Government never stops growing once you start it.
When we as citizens are willing to say, I'm willing to be uncomfortable and free, then we will have less government.
I'm excited to see what comes out on this proposed bill surrounding AI, because I don't even know how a legislature can write bills to anticipate something that right now appears like it seems like it's evolving and moving faster than you can blink.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can write a bill for it today and it's doing absolutely something else and surpassing your bill tomorrow.
That's where we're lucky we have I know Bridger's got to go. We're lucky we have a citizen-led government. We have members of our body who have actually worked in this area. Senator Jonathan Johnson, who is sold his companies and kind of stepped back from the private world to serve. This was what he worked on in the private sector. So we have people who are familiar with this,
That's
which is
excellent.
good because I'm an environmental engineer. I'm biological systems engineering is my background. I don't know anything about AI.
Right. And then a lot of people up there have no idea what you do and about the knowledge you have over that issue. So it's kind of great that we've got a pool of people, and Bridger included as a business owner and a specific type of business and with rural Utah experience and workings. Bridger, we're going to let you go.
Thanks for your work on that caucus, by the way. That's what Bridger's working on right now, is setting up that wonderful stewardship caucus, which is going to be a great benefit to us.
Thank you, Bridger.
You're my representative.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate all your work, and let's stay in touch because I would love to be up there at the Capitol to watch you two shine this session. So let me know whenever you have a free moment to let me tag along. I really appreciated it last time. And Bridger, we're going to have you on again for session, but I believe you're also running for the office again.
I am. Yep.
And so we're going to have all candidates come out and do more of a campaign thing. But right now, you are so valuable to this county and beloved and hardworking. And so I need you, Jared and I are just in awe at the leadership we have in this county.
Luckiest county in the nation.
We're very lucky. And so that's because of work you do. That's the work you do. So please know with the most sincere way I can say it.
I think the water out here produces integrity.
Maybe.
I think so. Because, we got a lot of character coming out of here. All of our representatives from, probably on the neighborhood level up. It's just, we got a lot of decent, responsible politicians.
I know before you go, I've been trying to get Brad Wilson a time slot, and I'm just, if you see him today, maybe let him know that I'm still trying to get a day for him. So I know you're fond of Brad Wilson's leadership, right? And then I know he's been kind of a mentor to you. So that's really neat because there's a lot of stuff I don't know about him. And I know a lot of people outside of politics don't know about him. So we'd like to get him on the show. So anything you can do to help us, that would be awesome.
Okay. Sounds great. Thanks again, you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
you.
Say hi to your family for me.
Will do. See you, Tim, in a couple days.
We'll see you.
All right.
Bye.